Ryan Lizza, the ex-fiancee of former New York Magazine writer Olivia Nuzzi, is alleging that Nuzzi had an affair with former South Carolina Governor Mark Sanford.
Now, Lizza dropped the bombshell allegations on his website Monday, saying he became aware of it when he found a love letter from Nuzzi that was meant for Sanford. Lizza writes, quote, "My heart stopped when I realized who he was. He was a famous politician, 32 years older than Olivia and well known for a sex scandal. But more importantly, he was a presidential candidate, a source and the subject of Olivia's recent profile for New York." He continues, "I was sure our relationship was over, and certainly our book project was dead. She had crossed a journalistic red line. How could we write a book about the presidential campaign if Olivia had a sexual relationship with one of the candidates?" Last year, Nuzzi and New York Magazine parted ways after an alleged sexting scandal between her and the then presidential candidate Robert F. Kennedy Jr. came to light. Many readers were expecting Liz's allegations of an affair to be about RFK, but were surprised to see him name Mark Sanford instead.
Sanford announced in 2019 he was running to challenge President Trump for the 2020 Republican nomination. That went nowhere. During the time, Nuzzi wrote a profile on him before he ultimately suspended his campaign after just about 2 months. Social media was quick to make jokes about this whole situation. Former CNN contributor Stephen Katowski writes, "Am I the only journalist who doesn't live like some kind of knockoff Rockefeller heir? What the hell is going on?" And political writer Daniel Nishanian says, "The biggest revelation in Liz's article is that Mark Sanford was running for president in 2020. I genuinely had zero recollection of this."
Now, all of this comes ahead of Nuzzi's new book that's set to be released in 2 weeks. As of Wednesday, she has not publicly responded to Liz's allegations.
Yeah, so
hot
this
mess.
This is
Thank you for bringing this to my attention.
Quite a mess.
Piping hot tea. I was just like, break this down for me.
Our writers did a very good job there of laying things out. But let me just elaborate a little bit. I should say that I know Olivia, not super duper well, but I've been in social circumstances with her. I like her. She was a nice person when I knew her. Her journalism, I think, even from conservative, she's writer for mainstream progressive news organizations like New York Magazine. I think even conservative writers see a lot of value in the things she's written over the years. She wrote a great piece about Joe Biden's failing cognitive abilities before much of the rest of the mainstream media had started talking about that, and the Biden people hated her for it. So there's some real successes she can point to in her career. All that said, it is the case that she has had this very messy end to a relationship with Ryan Lizza, a journalist who is much older than her. They're all adults, don't care about that, whatever, doesn't matter. They have dated for 8 years or so, about that amount of time, and in that she seems to, according to him, have had affairs with 2 older, much older, even like way older than him, political figures who are obviously RFK Jr. is married to Cheryl Hines.
Cheryl Hines did not like these accusations at all.
No,
I read.
Mark Sanford, I guess I would have to check. I don't know if Mark Sanford is known for having an affair.
Yes.
That I believe ended his marriage. The whole Appalachian Trail. Wasn't it the Appalachian Trail that he said they couldn't get in touch with him, and he said he'd gone hiking on the Appalachian Trail. He was seeing a mistress or
getaway.
A girlfriend or a lady or whatever. Again, I don't really care about people's personal lives, but these are 2 high-profile political journalists for mainstream progressive publications who are out to destroy each other since their breakup. So he says the funniest thing in this piece. So he just published on Substack about this. Unless you think he's the one talking out of turn or speaking up about this, well, she's just about to publish a book about her relationship with RFK Jr. Something by the way, RFK Jr. denies that any of this happened, and it sounds like they never had it actually. Well, it's unclear whether they had a physical relationship. It was just texting. I don't. It's just all crazy stuff. But Lizza says that in his piece, Olivia at one point said, "Well, we should just agree never to talk about this again because it'd be mutually damaging to our careers if we talked about it."
Right.
And he was like, "Yeah, let's not talk about it." And she's publishing a book about it. So he's like, okay, so then I have to set the record straight and say that this is the second time this happened, at least.
So you made a pattern out of this. I was just like,
Crazy. It's crazy.
She doesn't. I don't know the girl, but I mean, the picking of who she's gonna be with, people that are married. Mark Sanford, who's literally more known than his political career, known for that cheating scandal.
Right.
These are people that you're gonna get with, and I think when you're reporting on politics, like it was made as a joke and jest, the tweet you read, but also seriously, like it can't be a recurring thing. If you fall in love once, okay, but it's a recurring thing where you're falling in love with people that you're reporting on. That's a problem.
Right. Oh, and we should. Yes. That's a
allegedly, right?
We should emphasize that point. We're not just like gossipy talking about people's private lives that are private, whatever.
You're reporting.
It is if you're a journalist writing a profile of someone for a magazine, it is unethical to sleep with them.
Yes.
It is unethical to sleep with sources for journalism, just as it is unethical for a doctor to sleep with their patients,
right,
or a teacher to sleep with their students, or a supervisor to sleep with their employees. It's not criminal, it's not illegal, it's unethical in that profession. It violates the code of that profession.
Right.
And to do it not once but multiple times,
that's the pattern.
that's really bad. It's not like, everyone should be forgiven, maybe even in the professional context, for making a mistake, but this is a repeated transgression. And you can look back, she wrote an article in the 20 teens for New York Magazine, taking issue with that, one of those political show, House of Cards. Do you remember that political show?
Of course.
Which one of the main characters in the first seasons is a journalist who's sleeping with the Kevin Spacey character.
That got killed off immediately.
And
sorry if I ruined that for y'all if you haven't seen it.
Olivia, it's an overhyped show in my view. Olivia wrote an article for New York Magazine that's, why does Hollywood always depict female journalists as sleeping with their sources?
Oh, wow. So that hit home for her.
Why indeed?
And so I know that this is gossipy, but he really got into the weeds in this piece that he wrote on Substack. Yeah. He said that she had maybe in a past relationship started working in news and as a journalist, and then got with Keith Olbermann, who was also years older than her. And then he put her up in a place, bought her house, clothes, and paid her rent for a while. So he's telling her whole life story. I mean, she's gonna sell books, but it also is like, if she makes a pattern now, Keith Olbermann has been in a high profile position in journalism, maybe not now, but historically around the time she was younger.
Back on social media, and by the way,
he said it's not true.
No, it's true, but. So I despise Keith Olbermann.
You made that clear.
Keith Olbermann despises me, and he despises Rising, and he thinks The Hill should fire me immediately.
Didn't he call you Baby Ryan Secrets?
No, that was John Oliver.
Oh, okay.
But he said, I despise him, but he amuses me greatly. He's different from Patton Oswalt in that way, who I despise but am not amused by. I love Keith Olbermann's tweets. I think he's very unintentionally funny. I enjoy listening to him. It's great for me.
So why didn't you keep this part up?
So Keith Olbermann. Okay, so the allegation is that it's not an allegation of wrongdoing. She dated Keith Olbermann, I guess, when she was maybe in college or shortly thereafter. So the massive age gap in their ages is the quote unquote scandal. Whatever, they're adults. I don't care. She was of age. She's an adult. Ryan made it sound like he gave her just a giant amount of money. He paid for her where she lived, and he gave her all this jewelry. And Keith Olbermann replied on Twitter, okay, yeah, but we dated for 4 years. That's 4 anniversaries and birthdays and Christmases, and I was making just a ton of money as a host on MSNBC. So what? Yeah, I was dating her. I bought her nice jewelry over the course of a year. It's not even that much money. And when you do the math on it, it was not that absurd.
Well, we can estimate the one conclusion.
I mean, he was dating her, whatever.
She's fine. She likes older,
that was before the relationship with
men,
Ryan.
And
Lizza.
she intentionally, it seems like, is open to those relationships with people that she's not only reporting on, but are in high-profile positions in places she might work, allegedly. Because he also said that she entangled herself with her boyfriend's boss. So that's...
Well, you can date... I don't date all the older men you want. If that's who you're into and attracted to, that's fine. You shouldn't date...
But then you can't write a piece about why they're always saying that somebody's sleeping.
You can't sleep with someone you're writing a magazine.
You said she wrote a whole piece about why they're saying women are sleeping with older guys in their business, and she's actively doing it as a grown woman making a decision.
Right.
And it's as a young grown woman.
Sleep with someone you're just not writing about.
Allegedly. It's all alleged. It's all alleged by her ex-boyfriend, who might just be spiteful. But
it's alleged by her on RFK Jr. She alleges she slept with
but everything
RFK Jr.
else. And Keith Olbermann seems to confirm that. But also it's just the fact that you have a book coming out in 2 weeks, it should do very well, given all this drama that your boyfriend
poured
the gasoline on fire.
There's a little excerpt of it available.
Oh.
It is very bad.
But people like bad. Like that Kim Kardashian show on Hulu is doing very well right now.
It's kind of, it's called American Canto, and it's kind of, it's almost like poetry. It's like a book of, like it's not a, it doesn't, I think, name RFK Jr. by name. It like alludes to, I don't know, I haven't read the book. Maybe it'll be fantastic. I'm certainly going to check it out.
I'm going to check it out too. So you got two new buyers. Newly released documents appear to show former Trump advisor Steve Bannon working closely with Jeffrey Epstein. We'll be right back.